It's all good, but let me say
man.
my piece. Let me say my piece.
Take off.
Let me say my piece. It's like this, bro. I extended my hand because I'm a real man. And the shit we came from in the street, dog, you see that we've been through it, dog. 20 years. 20 years. And when I said I wanted to do this shit for the culture, that's what I wanted to do, nigga. I brought you here to show you the world care about what the fuck we got going on, because we are the culture. You feel me? Me and you. Where we came from. What we been through, nigga. Us. Me and you. All these kids out here doing what the fuck they do because they saw what went on with us, dog. So this shit ain't about me. This shit ain't about you. You feel what I'm saying? This shit about King Von. This shit about Dope B. This shit about Nipsey Hussle. This shit about motherfucking Pop Smoke, M3. And I'm real enough to do that, nigga, because one thing about it, 2 things for sure, 3 things for certain, nigga.
I'm the realest nigga in it. You already know.
Got Trapper of the Year 4 times
in a row.
What they give?
A lifetime supply, baby.
Real nigga, stand up.
Yeah, you for individuals who, come out the streets, for individuals who definitely come out the streets, come out the hood. Well, and what I mean when I say come out the streets, I mean was like, raised in the hood and was out there, was a part of the environment of the hood, whether you wanted to be a part of it or not, is because that was your environment, and that was your reality. Everything that you dealt with was hood related in some form or aspect. When you went to the store, it was in the hood. When you went to the laundromat, it was in the hood. When you went to the school, it was in the hood. So therefore, you couldn't ignore it. You couldn't walk around it. You couldn't act like it don't exist. You couldn't even not participate. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, not saying you had to be involved with everything in the hood, but I'm saying that you still are in some form, way, and fashion a product of your environment. For individuals who was raised in the hood, I'm talking to you. And then I'm talking to specifically, though, the ones who was actively in the streets, who was really in that life, who was hustling, who was selling the dope, who was robbing, who was whatever in these streets, I myself, man, I grew up in that type of environment, and I was definitely a product of that, a product, of my environment. I was definitely like 100% a product of the environment, It wasn't nothing that I wouldn't do, and especially for the dollar. It wasn't really like, and I'm saying more so like on a criminal aspect, not, no craziness, but that I wouldn't do, and I don't want to, talk too much about it, like going for myself, but I just really want, I'm trying to make a point here, and I want to establish something. The foundation I'm establishing is that I come from that environment, I come from that mindset, and it is a very difficult mindset to break free from. And one thing I've grown to realize and understand and know is that, man, don't nobody really want to die. True enough, when you grow up in that environment, sometimes it don't, you don't value life enough because, there's so many different things about what you don't have. You get so caught up on what you don't have to where you really lose value for life. You get so kind of drowned by all of the bad experiences you go through, the traumas you experience, and that you don't get no help navigating through and getting out of that. You really just lose a lot of value for life. Life just don't. It don't. It's not valuable to you. You don't even want to get old. So I know I was in it. Didn't want to get old. So I'm saying, of course, when you don't value life, you're not necessarily looking at like, well, I don't give a damn about dying, or I don't give a damn about living, until you're about to die, until you're laying there about to die, until you with a loved one that is dying, or that died in front of you, or that died, period, especially to violence, especially in a way that was unnecessary. They died at a time where they shouldn't be dying. Because of them being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or because 2 individuals don't know how to talk things out. one thing I want to really point out here is that, first of all, that is a very difficult mindset to come from, the streets. You know, a lot of us feel like that when you look at Jeezy and this brother Watt, when you see these two, you got money, bro. You don't even have to be in the streets. You don't have to act street. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, you know, and some of us who come from that life or still in that life might wonder, like, bro, why, you know, man, I wouldn't be tripping about him or tripping with her about this, that, and other if I had millions. A lot of us think that, you know. But one thing that I've also grown to understand and know is that money itself don't change you. Money reveals who you really are, just as they say alcohol does. It makes you less inhibited. You know, it removes the restraints that you typically have that you know, on yourself. The only thing that changes you is when you want better, when you want different results out of your life, when you're tired of experiencing certain things and you say, man, it gotta be more than this. You see, when you start really looking at what you've been going through and how you've been living, when you really get tired of suffering, when you're tired of going through the same stuff over and over, you know how they say when you really get tired of being sick and tired, that's when you start to look for something better, man. You start, like, that's when you become open for change. That's when that's what happened to me. I wanted out the street, but I didn't know how to get out for a long time. Because I was tired of going to jail. I was tired of going to prison. I was tired of just getting locked up, period. That's what got me. It wasn't even the violence in the streets. I was tired of getting locked up. You know? And it's crazy because I had accepted the streets as my reality. I accepted everything about the streets as you know, there was a time where I believed that this is what the life was really like. This is life. I couldn't even begin to understand or see anything beyond what I knew in the streets. You know, I mean, it's because the hood was my world. I didn't try to venture out. And when I was, by some type of circumstance, to end up out of my world, I was clamoring to get back in it. I you know, trying to make sure that I can get back to my world as soon as possible, because that's where I was comfortable at. That's what I was used to. That's what I knew. And that's why a lot of individuals, man, get so caught up in that street shit and don't know how to get out, because one, they're comfortable in it, and two, they just haven't reached a point to where they're sick and tired of the results that's being produced. I remember my brother once told me when I was in the county, and I told him, I'm tired of being locked up. You know, he laughed at me, and I was like, what's so funny? And he said, you know, I don't mean laugh at you, Jared, because I'm going to trial facing a bunch of time. And actually they ended up giving me 40 years in trial. And the thing was, though, I'm really sick and tired, and so my situation was very serious to me. And he was like, yeah, I know you probably tired for real, and I don't really mean to laugh at you, but until you get tired of what put you there, until you get tired of the life that continues to put you in there, I mean, that's a part of it. That comes with it. And, you know, I just ain't never forgot that. That's what I would say. Like, when you look at them brothers like Jesus and so many other rappers, man, who have made it. I ain't talking about the ones trying to get there. I get it. You know, they roll. They on stage. They feel like they got to be and act the way they need to be. And it's only by the grace of God that you're able to live beyond that point. But for individuals who have got beyond that point, I'm saying, like, financially anyway, you know, they really don't have no excuse. There's an understanding, there's some logic behind why they still act the way they act. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's an understanding about it, but it's definitely no justification, man. And, you know, tip my hat to Jesus, because Jesus was able to maintain and stay a grown man and stay focused on all that he value and all that makes life worth living and makes peace worth having, and you know, fuck all the drama and all that old unnecessary stuff. because one would say, why would why would Gucci, why was he so hostile, man? Why was he so disrespectful? And do you feel like you got something to prove? Do you feel that, and that'd be a lot of the thing, that'd be the biggest thing. A lot of times people in the street feel like they got something to prove. Or people with a street mindset feel like they got something to prove. Not like necessarily to themselves, but sometimes maybe because they feel like they haven't done enough to solidify their street creds or whatever, so they still feel like they got something to prove. They're not a punk. They haven't gotten old. They haven't gotten weak or whatever. Or they got these brothers who they still dealing with in the streets. They got this street mindset of company that they're pressured by and feel like they gotta prove something to them. So that's what I would like to extend out, man. I don't really want to make this a long time. My whole point was that, I really tip my hat and proud of the way Jeezy handled that. And he actually was able to, with his grown up, with his maturity, he was able to pull Gucci out of that immaturity into some maturity. And hopefully, that carries on and out in his real life, that he's able to see Jeezy and check himself later and be like, man, I was tripping. I was really tripping. I need to get off that shit. And get on some grown man stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, but the other thing is I really want us to think about that, man. For those of us who still living in them streets and got that street mentality, man, you don't want to die, and I say this because until you've been shot and laying on the ground thinking you about to die, then you don't know how you're gonna feel. You don't know how real it gets. But go talk to individuals who have been shot up and laying on the ground and was blessed to still be alive. Find out what was really going on in their mind when they were laying down there. And I guarantee 9 times out of 10, most of them was scared as hell. They were scared as hell. And I can only imagine how individuals who actually died right before they took their last breath, what they may have been thinking. If only I can, start over and do it again. If only, I wanted, they prayed silent to God, like how when you had too much to drink, like, God, just give me one more chance and I promise I'm gonna change my life. I wonder, did they think like that? Did they have those kind of prayer? Because you said when you drunk and you throwing up and you just want to be feeling better, I'm willing to believe that you would say it when you in pain on that ground and all your blood is running out on that concrete, So for all of us that used to be in these streets, man, and in these streets and got that mindset, I get it, man. It's about, and the street mindset is all about survival. Individuals who feel like they still gotta have a street mindset, the hood mindset, be tough, be mean, gotta have people scared of them, this, that, and other. It's only a survival mindset, and I get it. That's animalistic. It's animalistic, man. I get it. But at some point, you gotta realize that survival comes in many different forms and ways. It's not just about having people scared of you, and it's not just about wanting to be proven to be the craziest MF on the block. It ain't about showing the world how quick you are, how quick you are willing to shoot somebody. Life is just about way more than that, man. And I promise, it ain't until some of us are about to lose that life that perspective is broadened and shifted. And some of us are able to live beyond that and give it a second chance. And sometimes a third chance to get the shit right. And some of us don't still. Some of us won't get it right and only gonna desire to get it right when we finna leave this level of existence. And then some of us will get it right. Some of us gonna get it right by just watching and looking at others, finally get it right. But, man, they say the blessed is those who are able to take heed from what an individual will tell them and what they are able to witness through the life of others. But the individuals who have to actually go through it, those aren't the ones who are as blessed, because now you have chosen to go and learn the hard way. Basically, you wanna pay for the lesson. Anyway, again, I tell my hat to them brothers. Peace and blessings.
All respect. I appreciate you for throwing out the olive branch. I accept that. No disrespect. It's all love.
Love, my
That's
nigga.
a
Let's
real-
get it. A-Town,
hey.
this what it is, baby.
That's
20
a
years,
fact.
nigga. 20 years, nigga.
Hey, Holiday.
Hey,
20 years, nigga.
I salute you,
bro.
Holiday.
Tell Jay-Z and Nas they better watch out.
Salute the Guwap, man. Shout